Okay, now I'm done sewing one of the feet, and this is what it looks like. On the bottom, it's all sewn all the way around. And I'm going to turn it right side out. When I turn it right side out, I want to make sure that I take a pen or something long and make sure that I get all the little nooks and crannies out and push everything to the right side. Okay, so get the little rounded toe part to come out. Okay, so everything is sewn on this one foot, and I'm going to show you how to attach the foot to the front of the body. So if you have the front of the body, we're going to look at the correct or the right side of the fabric, the good side. And on the back side, we traced these little circles here and here. So the circle is about right here. And the other circle is about right here. And which doesn't make sense. You need to actually see the circles on the good side of the fabric to pin. So I made my marks on one side of the body front. Press the two seams together. You're going to press the front middle seam against the back middle seam like that. And then flip the foot over so that you see the back of the leg. Pin it between those two circles that I just drew on the good side of the fabric. So keep the two edges together and pin that to the bottom edge of the front of the body. And so it's like 3/4 of the way over from the middle front body seam. So there's a little bit of a gap between both legs. So you don't want the legs to look like they're stuck together. You want a little bit of gap between the two parts of your teddy bear's legs. So we're going to pin it with 3 or 4 pins. Keep the two edges of the leg together and this third additional layer of the front of the bear's body. So that's 3 layers of fabric that you are going to have to sew through to attach the foot. And just keep this in mind when you are attaching the foot if you're not sure how to attach the foot. If this was the front of the bear's belly, have the foot be attached so it looks like it's kicking itself in the chest like that. The toes are kind of pointing down onto the bear's chest. So the other foot's going to be over here, and it's going to be, of course, toes kind of kicking the top of the chest here. Because when you sew, the leg's going to come down and you won't see any of the seams. So at this point, I'm going to just finish up my second foot. Here's 2 pieces of my second foot, and attach the sole of the foot. And then after I'm done that, I'm going to attach the whole foot to the bottom of the body front, and then we'll be done this part of the teddy bear. The next portion of this video is to attach the feet that you've just sewn to the body front. So here is one of the feet that I've just sewn the soles onto, and it has this little round oval bottom now, and it looks kind of like a boot. I'm turning it right side out onto the good side of my fabric, and I'm going to put this little seam turner tool, or you could put a chopstick or something blunt like a pen with a cap on, to make sure that you get push out all the little nooks and crannies of your sewing, so that there's no little dents or flat spots. Okay, after you have turned the foot right side out, You should have also left a hole in the middle of the back of the leg for stuffing. All the arms and legs get stuffed individually. And then the head gets stuffed through the body. So the head and the body get stuffed together. But I want to call attention to the seam in the front of the little boot. Take that seam, kind of open up the flaps, and press them against each other so they're centered. While you're holding the leg like this, and here's the little toe part of the bear's foot, attach it to the bottom of the bear's body front. So I have 2 dots about from here to here. Take the foot, turn it so that the toe of the foot is facing the belly. So it looks like the bear's kicking itself in the belly. Place that between those 2 dots and pin. I've already pinned this leg over here like this. So all the raw edges are placed together at the bottom. And the leg is attached about, it looks like about 3/4 of an inch away from this center seam, away from the center seam for the body front. So the toes are right here. Have the toes kind of like kicking toward the neck right here. Lay the piece down. Basically lay the boot down like that. Press the 2 front and back seams together, and then have the toes kicking. Basically kick the bear's chest area with the toes like this. Take the 2 front and back seams, press them together, and then line them and start pinning them between the 2 dots at the bottom of your bear body front. So I'm going to take these 3 layers of fabric basically, and I'm going to pin them and then sew them. You can use the back stitch, but you don't really have to spend all that time doing a neat little back stitch, because you are going to sew over this area again with the next step, which is sewing the body back on to the front of the bear. So between this dot and this dot right here, you're going to pin the legs on. So pin them on the very ends, and then put a pin in the middle where the seams are. And then you can put a couple other pins if you feel like it, to hold all 3 layers of fabrics together. You can just use a regular running stitch, which is when you take your needle and you go in and out and in and out. Sometimes they call that a basting stitch. And basting is basically temporarily sewing something together with large, long stitches. So if you just want to hold the legs on temporarily with some basting stitches, that would be a good idea, so you don't have to spend too much time. If you want to do a back stitch and do do a lot of extra work just to make sure that it doesn't come off, it's up to you, and it will not affect anything. So now it looks like this, where the legs are folded up and the little toes are touching the top of the chest. And then when you fold it down like this, you can see how you wouldn't see any of this of the sewing like that. So like that. It's very nice and clean in here. So what I'm going to do next is just to temporarily baste the top of the legs to the body front. And after I do that, I just want you to get started on the next thing, which is the body back pieces.